Good morning. Good morning. Is it working? I'm Christine Hauser, member of the UUCA Board of Trustees. Welcome to all. UUCA welcomes everyone, no matter their race, age, faith, gender identity, sexual orientation, political affiliation, disability or ability, seen or unseen, or economic status, and if you are with us online or in the sanctuary. June is Pride Month. I learned that it was Barack Obama who on May 31, 2011, proclaimed that starting in 2011, June would be Pride Month. Some research reveals that the genesis of Pride Month was the Stonewall riots on June 28, 1969, when police raided the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in Greenwich Village, New York City, attempting to arrest those inside. Frequent raids of gay bars across the city had escalated frustration toward police and led patrons, including transgender activists, to fight back against police. Activists continued to demand dignity and equality, and eventually the Supreme Court in 2015 declared it legal for citizens of the same sex to marry. I work at the U.S. Department of Energy, which is on Independence Plaza. As I was walking to the building one day this week, I was delighted to see the Pride flag flying, along with the American and DOE flags. I checked with one of my work friends who told me that Jennifer Granholm, the Secretary of Energy, hoisted the flag herself. As I traveled the area, I saw other buildings draped with the Pride flag. I can take no credit for these events, but I am proud to be a citizen of a country that supports all its citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have an extra order of service back there? Thank you. Ready? Let's go. She did the welcome already. A call to worship is meant to bring us together, to pull us into sacred space, to remind us why we are here and what we've come here for. Today, in this place of peace and surrounded by our many blessings, may we come together from our separateness, blending ourselves into a community of whole beings, warming the heart, feeding the spirit. As we come together, may we stop for more than a moment and remember who we are individually, who we are in couples or pairs, but here in this space, who we are as a community. Forget about the to-do list that you carry everywhere. Forget about the never-ending perpetual rush from one thing to another. Forget about this urgency that we create that envelops our lives. Stop. Breathe. Let yourself come into this room with these people. In this moment and in the ones immediately to follow, let us draw together all that has been scattered all week long. Let us return to our fullest selves, Let us embrace this moment of calm, of peace, of love. Here we are to center, to express compassion towards one another, to laugh, to cry, to do whatever happens in brave space that feeds your spirit. Here we are. Let this worship begin.
Good morning. Here we are. And my goodness, it's been some kind of week and a couple weeks and a month and a couple years. So I would like us to heave a collective sigh of whatever we need to do. Today we light our candle of compassion and acknowledge loss, the ongoing pain of war, and also joy. First, let's hold loss. We hold the victims of gun violence on our hearts. We support them as they carry unimaginable grief and heartache. We send strength and courage to the first responders and mental health professionals on the front lines of this work. We also remind our legislators and public officials that they must take steps to pass meaningful and common sense legislation to stem the tide of violence. We continue to acknowledge the people of Ukraine, sending them both strength and solidarity as they face the raw brutalities of war. Lastly, I will light this candle with a spark of joy. You may have noticed as you entered the parking lot and moved about the UUCA campus this morning, a lot of colorful flags. In fact, some of us have noticed them so much, and my friend Bruce, who can tell if one has been removed, and it doesn't matter where. So people are loving the flags, we're excited that they're there, and they're being taken, pilfered, because people want them. And we're putting them right back, and Bruce is on the job. He knows what's going on. This month, our congregation is once again supporting the LGBTQIA community with our observance of Pride Month. I mean, hello. In June, the world's LGBTQIA communities come together and celebrate the freedom to be themselves. The original organizers of Pride chose June as a way to pay homage to the Stonewall Uprising of June 1969 in New York City that we heard about earlier, an event that helped spark the modern gay rights movement. Pride gatherings are rooted in the grueling, often painful history of those who have struggled for decades to overcome prejudice and be accepted for who they are. Let us not forget.
We gather together as a community of memory and hope, abilities for love. And please join me in speaking aloud. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
And I invite you to rise in body and or spirit and turn in your teal hymnal to 1074. Now, if you're not awake yet, this hymn will wake you up. So you really need to watch all of those words, and I just want to give you a little bit of the roadmap so you can enjoy it fully. Notice that there's a repeat on the very first page. You sing those 3 verses, one right after another. And then we do, woe, woe, so is life. And on page 3, we are not doing that repeat. So after do you know who I am, and do that page, we move right on to the next section. And all I want to do is to have you say one thing, and that is on page 4, you'll notice it says, So is life, abadiwa. Can we say that together? So is life, abatiwa. Yeah, comes in really fast. So be ready for it and enjoy it. On page 5, we are doing all 3 verses again. So you just repeat those 3 verses. And then page 6, if we're not too exhausted, we'll just do that last page one time. But enjoy this wonderful Calypso song, Turn the World Around.
Living in the fire, go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Whoa, so is life, abatiwa. So is life. Whoa, so is life, abatiwa. So is life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain, fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, totally can the spirit turn the world around. Whoa, so is life, abatiwa. Hey, so is life. Oh, so is life, abatiwa. Hey, so is life.
So I have a wisdom lesson for you all this morning, but before I can do it, I need a volunteer to bring me their purse. I won't go anywhere with it. Make sure it's zip closed, but I need a bag. Perfect. Thank you very much. It's not a magic trick, but please note I'm closing all zippers, making sure nothing will be shaken out. This wisdom lesson is called It's What You Believe and How. When babies are born, they don't believe anything. They're not born Buddhist or Baptist or believers of any sort at all. But soon after they arrive in the world, even babies start to gather ideas. They pick up beliefs and ideas about people and animals and families. They collect ideas about stars and comets and how the whole world got started. They start to accumulate beliefs about good and about what is bad, what's healthy and what's unhealthy, and what's really important in life. All these beliefs that babies and adults get from their parents and playmates, from TV and from Sunday school, they all sort of go, and this is why I needed the belief bag, into this belief bag. So you're carrying a belief bag right now. Over the course of your life, you have very carefully put into it what you believe and taken out of it what you don't. So if this was my bag, it would say, I believe in lollipops. I believe in Peeps. It's an Easter thing. I believe I am connected to you and to you and to you and to you and to every single person in this room in a deeply important, untouchable way. I believe we are connected to one another, so I would put that in my belief bag. I also believe that the universe is around us, lives in us, and works through us, and helps us get through the day, and reminds us to help each other. So there's a voice. I've never tried to name it or tell anybody what it looks like, but my voice that steers me goes into this bag. Most religions define themselves by what they believe or what's in their bag. Christians believe in Jesus. He's in the sea bag. Muslims believe in Allah and the Prophet Muhammad. Both of those two things are in the Muslim bag. Buddhists believe in the Four Noble Truths. 1, 2, 3, 4 would go into the Buddhist bag. But Unitarian Universalists, we're special. We don't have the Four Noble Truths. We don't have the Trinity. We don't have a single thing to just hold our hat on. And while that means our bag needs to be expandable and maybe the zippers pop open, what's exciting about it is it means that we believe enough to fit everybody at the table. And we also believe there are different ways to carry what you believe in your bag. Some people take their bag and they not only put it on their shoulder, but they hold it like this, really tightly, afraid to put it down. They clutch it close. They make sure every zipper is zipped, every button is smashed. They make sure that anything that's inside stays inside, and more importantly, anything outside can't get in. Their beliefs are shut, zipped, and buttoned. There's no need to expand them or change them. On the other hand, some people are different. They don't pay a lot of attention to what goes into the bag. I mean, in fact, I'm going to open this and it's going to get interesting. Oh, yeah, this is one of those people. So we got a lot of stuff in this bag. We got some keys. Oh, we have a lovely scarf. We got a Hershey bar. I think this is a UU bag. We have a hairbrush. But you get my point. Unlike someone who packs their bag perfectly and then holds it tightly, this bag is a little looser. It's got some stuff going on in it. It also has space to let other ideas and other things into it. And then there are people, this is a great bag for it, who carry their bag like a weapon or a club. You shouldn't believe that way. You should believe these things. Why did you say that? That's not true. Those people who carry their bags like a club, they actually use their bag, their theological bag, to hit other people. What's on the outside of the bag, it could look nice and sweet and ordinary. Oh, I believe in peace and kindness. Oh, I believe in universal love. You should believe in peace too. Your theological bag, your belief bag, really does matter. You have a choice. You can hold it tight. You can zip every pocket and make it be more like a weapon. Or you can have a UU bag like this one, with a Hershey bar, with a scarf, with your keys on a little leash so you don't lose your keys because we all have to find our way home, with a hairbrush in the bottom, with a cough drop to hand off to a friend, with a sense of openness and sharing. What does it mean to be a UU and have a belief bag? I want you to think about that, because the next time someone asks you what you believe, you gotta have a ready answer. If we went around the room, they would not all be the same, but we all should have an answer to that question. I believe in peeps. I believe in red popsicles on a hot summer day that drip on your shirt. I believe I am connected to and responsible for each one of you. And I believe you are connected to me. Think about what your belief bag holds and what your answer to that question might be. When someone says, "Oh, I know you're a UU," what do you believe? And be able to tell them. What you carry in your bag is really important. What you are able to articulate to the world about those beliefs is even more important. The belief bag.
Please join us in our children's blessing song.
Thank you.
Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonder of the world you will find, to the wonders of the world you will find.
Yes. Good morning. My story is about family, expectations, growth, change, and unexpected acceptance. Like many people born into middle-class families in the 1950s, I grew up thinking that I would eventually get married and have children who would then grow up, get married, have children of their own, and repeat that generation after generation after generation. As many of you know, my husband, Tom O'Reilly, and I have been members of UUCA for 20 years. Our children, Shannon and Maura, born 8 years apart, were active in RE, Chalice Theater, youth group, and the music programs. I was thrilled to give birth to 2 daughters and looked forward to seeing what type of women they would become. My expectations were that they would grow and thrive, especially in this community, follow their passions, find a profession or vocation, and create a family with someone of their own. As our girls grew, I loved seeing them blossom and find their interests, Shannon in science, Maura in theater. I was convinced that both would be strong, accomplished women in whatever field they chose. Shannon wasn't an easy kid, whatever that is, and we had our struggles. Starting in middle school, she would spend hours in her room reading or plumbing the depths of the internet. In high school, she would play Dungeons and Dragons or go to computer parties with her friends, mostly boys. She was also miserable and had near constant stomach aches for which we could find no source, despite some of the best medical attention in the world and psychological attention in the world. She went on to college, and halfway through her junior year, Shannon transferred to the University of Iowa, but still had debilitating stomach pains and came home for investigative surgery, which again found no cause. During her senior year, she told us she was trans, asked us to call her Shay, and use he, him pronouns. Shay's transition was hard for me. Not because I was anti-trans, I needed the time to mourn, initially thinking that I had lost a daughter. But now I recognize that I was mourning the loss of dreams and expectations that I had for my kid. I was also concerned about how our extended family would feel and react, especially my 90-year-old father and very, very conservative stepmother who came from Indiana. Not saying anything negative about Indiana, mind you, but she was really conservative. Shay had always been close to them, so I was very concerned about that. Several months after he came out as trans, my dad told me that he had called my brother to try to set up an intervention with me because he did not feel that I was accepting the transition. 90 years old, you know, all of this. Well, I was really angry that he hadn't recognized my need to transition with my child. His acceptance was unexpected and such a relief. Long story short, once through transition, Shay's stomach aches pretty much disappeared. 9 years ago, this weekend, my dad and stepmother hosted Shay's wedding to his husband, Morgan, at their home, officiated by Reverend Carlton Smith. Now Shay and Morgan have a daughter, Rosa, who's 2.5, and how I loved saying, "My son is pregnant," when Rosa was in utero. It was so much fun. Loved watching people's reactions. You know, it's a true blessing. Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't skipped forward. I haven't said much about Maura. She was the easy kid, and we've always been very, very close. For the last 2 years, Maura has been in a deep and meaningful relationship with a woman who I love dearly and who has been readily welcomed into our family, our extended family. Where is Jamie? Can you bring Jamie with us? It's a true blessing to watch our children grow into their true selves and follow their passions, becoming strong and accomplished adults surrounded by people who love them. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a place in your order of service for a prayer. And I'm going to go off script and ask you to find your gray hymnal. What I'm looking for is a piece that's called "It Will Not Matter." And as we stand here on Pride Sunday, I think it's important that we say those words to each other. It's okay, talk amongst yourselves. Sometimes this happens. I marked it and left the hymnal I marked it in my office. I apologize. If you are black and I am white, it will not matter. If you are gay and I am straight, it will not matter.
Someone said 529.
5 what?
29.
29? $539? I couldn't hear whatever somebody said. No, not 549. But I have a Hershey bar for you later. It's a reading, it's not a hymn. So next fall, there will be a class on getting to know your hymnal. And I will expect to see all of you at that class. Shoot. Woo, I think we might have a winner. Thank you for your patience at home. That is it, 576. This was written by Marjorie Bowens Wheatley. It's called A Litany of Restoration. I will say the small words, it will not matter. You all will say in one voice, loudly, the other pieces of this litany. A litany of restoration. If you are black and I am white, it will not matter. If you are female and I am male, it will not matter. If you are older and I am younger, it will not matter. If you are progressive and I am conservative, it will not matter. If you are straight and I am gay, it will not matter. If you are Christian and I am Jewish, it will not matter. If we join spirits as brothers and sisters, the pain of our aloneness will be lessened, and that does matter. In this spirit, we build community and move towards restoration. Thank you, Marjorie Bowens Wheatley.
Tediamo ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla vola sobre la mar hasta moldea la justicia de la vida. Arráigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Spirit of Life. And this reading is called Nudging Us Toward Life. I am privileged to be reading this written by Lee Kinvey. Lee is an intern minister at the First Parish Church of Groton, Massachusetts, and a hospice music therapist. They parent two complicated kids, aged 17 and 22, and live waiting for the next hilarious thing to happen. The practice of love offers no place of safety. Bell hooks in All About Love, New Visions. 30 years ago, the pink triangle button pinned on my jacket identified me as queer. My t-shirt said, "Silence equals death," and "No" on 9. An evangelical right-wing group had gotten an initiative on the ballot proposing to amend the Oregon Constitution to ban LGBTQ+ civil rights protections and to label us abnormal, wrong, unnatural, and perverse. Already, deep in the fight against AIDS, our community was plunged into a dehumanizing, demeaning debate about whether we were dangerous sexual predators. The stakes were high. The intense homophobia and fear of danger were real. One day, as I pulled into a gas station where I wasn't sure I was safe being out, I found myself taking my pink triangle button off my jacket. Although nothing about how I looked didn't signal dyke, after I drove away, I was flooded with a sense of regret. This was not how I wanted to be. I believed with all my heart that persistent, obvious queer presence would save us, and I had betrayed my heart. I couldn't shake the feeling, and soon I sewed pink triangle patches onto my jackets and clothes. Invisibility equals silence. Silence equals death. Decades later, I figured out I am trans non-binary. Embracing this has brought tremendous joy and energy and has deepened my authenticity with the world. Using they, them, their pronouns reminds me of that pink triangle patch. Every day I face the question, do I assert, request, correct, here, now? Each time I'm able to answer yes. I experience a teeny sense of nudging us toward life. Now, one of our political parties is busy pushing waves of bills targeting and oppressing trans and non-binary people and their families through legislatures across the country. The stakes are still high all around, as Jewish author and activist Emma Lazarus taught us back in 1883. Until we are all free, we are none of us free. I will close this morning's reading with a prayer written by the author. God of all names and no name, help me live in gratitude for the LGBTQ+ ancestors who paved this road we walk and roll on. Stay with me when I'm feeling scared and doing brave, nudging us forward. Amen.
Can we get an amen? Wow. Thank you. Good morning. I'm Bruce Ryder. My husband Peter and I have been attending UUCA since 2009. My favorite place in this building is the volunteer room. I've enjoyed many meetings, talks, envelope stuffing sessions, lunches, and other communal events there, which lives in me as an intimate space to experience the beehive of activity that is this church. I'm a responsible church guy. Some have asked me, what do the colors of the rainbow flag mean? So I brought us one, another one, as if we didn't have enough. Google is your friend, but the summary is that the colors represent universal blessings. This flag is a blessing to everyone, everyone. Red is life, orange is healing, yellow sunlight, green is nature. Indigo is serenity, and purple is spirit. Aren't those great? Aren't those great? Couldn't we all live with that? Give me an amen. Those are great. So why is the rainbow flag not enough? Why are all these different flags flying around? At our church entrance today are flags representing transgender, intersex, and asexual people. Don't the TIA and LGBTQIA receive the same blessings of community represented by this rainbow flag? So, news to you, maybe. We live in a white, male, cisgender dominant society. White, cisgender, male, gay men appropriated the rainbow flag soon after it was created in the 1970s as representing a movement excluding every other member of the acronym. Lesbians, bisexuals, transgender people, BIPOC, and everyone else was not invited to the party. They were excluded in voice and in power from the movement under this rainbow banner. If you are familiar with Heather McGhee's book, The Sum of Us, this dynamic of white people depriving everybody else of progress while hurting themselves is resonant. The LGBTQIA community was not immune. There's an infamous video of gay white men heckling one of the transgender pioneers who ignited the Stonewall Rebellion at a Stonewall anniversary celebration just a few years after the actual event. The LGBTQIA community endured a period of turning on ourselves. So that happened. We own it, and we begin again. As a result, multiple identity-based flags and symbols, like those on our ramp today, arose in protest. So those flags are a protest. Both the messiness of the LGBTQIA movement and our diversity are on display. The LGBTQIA community has moved at the speed of trust, I think, to recognize that we all need each other to survive. Can our wider UU movement come to that recognition? Our friends at Equality Virginia shared a Facebook reminder on June 1st that pride will always be a protest. I think of pride as the how dare you protest. How dare you demand bodily autonomy? How dare you even dream of equality, respect, and common decency? How dare you hope when death seems the outcome as you make quilts to honor your dead? How dare you find joy in protest and act up? How dare you even imagine being included in a family, much less in a beloved community? How dare you become what your higher power made you to be, rather than what you are told to be, perceived to be, or assigned to be? To those how dare yous, the LGBTQIA community says, watch us. If there are some universal takeaways from Pride, in my opinion, they are demand, dare to demand, dare to dream, dare to hope, dare to find joy, dare to imagine, dare to become. Life often disappoints. Sometimes it rains on your wedding day. When they make these flags, these wonderful flags, with the plastic posts that break, you have to come up with something else. Marshmallow roasting sticks. Taller. I learned too late in life that I need no one's permission to live my life responsibly on my terms. Dare to pursue your free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Dare to live your one authentic life. You only get one. Secure in the knowledge that even when life disappoints, you will never again be alone. Happy Pride to all of us.
Well, that was lovely. The music has been lovely as usual. Thank you, musicians. And Sophia, thank you for pulling this together. One of the joys of my job is getting to noodle around musical ideas with Sophia. And we had this exchange of emails about music for this service that started with the Rainbow Connection and ended up with what you're hearing today. The fun for us was everything between those 2 points. Our music here is amazing. A large reason for that is Sophia. As we move forward in the service, it is time for our offering. Here at UUCA, we are generous from the heart and give funds to things in the community that share our values. This month, our Share the Plate recipient is ALIVE, A-L-I-V-E, exclamation point. We are sharing the plate with ALIVE, a nonprofit organization that serves low-income persons in Alexandria that have critical essential needs, food and shelter. ALIVE is operated by 50 affiliated congregations of different faiths, including UUCA. We've been an active member since 1990. Your donations today will provide food and help to prevent evictions for people who are struggling to make ends meet. Inflation is real. The pandemic is still with us. It is affecting their lives. ALIVE also offers basic services that alleviate some of the suffering caused by poverty. They try to offer paths to basic services that move people from poverty to the next place, that give them a lift. It brings together diverse faith groups that provide services for and enriches people by teaching them, from the newly arrived to those who have been long-time disadvantaged, for the disabled and the low-income elderly. ALIVE crosses a wide swath of people in need. Please join them in Fellowship Hall after the service to learn more about their organization, how they're helping people, and how to volunteer to be part of the ALIVE team. Will the ushers please come forward and take an offering? I said earlier that ours is a congregation that gives deeply. This is beyond true. In the 2021-2022 year, UUCA collected and distributed over $500,000 via Share the Plate. If you are ever questioning our generosity or what we do for the Arlington community, please follow these instructions. Take this hand, lift it up, bend it over, pat yourself on the back, just like this. It is not perfect, but it is profound. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Please join me. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure, for giving brings us joy. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability, for they teach us how to receive in community and love. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation, for it is a blessing to make a difference together. Thank you. Our second reading this morning on Pride Sunday is called A More Urgent Pride Month, Why It Matters. I'm never confused about why Pride Month matters. I'm a fan of rainbows and all the colors. I have gay people, trans people, lesbian people in my life, and I am aware of their struggles and of the things that are bringing them joy. Some people, though, as this month draws near, ask the question more than once, why? Why do we need Pride Month? I mean, we just had Black History Month and we had Women's History Month. Like, why do we need another month set aside for one person? Luckily, I do not have one of those individuals in my close proximity regularly. I would behave, but there would be the constant itchy palm. My mom used to say, I got an itchy palm, y'all better go upstairs. A SWAT could follow that from my mother. This is called Why Pride Matters. I'll never forget walking around a general conference and meeting a white, elderly-haired woman. She looked at me and said, I've been fighting this since I was your age. Her entire lifetime was spent seeking to make the church a safe space, not just for herself, but for me and for future generations who wanted to call this church home. I can be who I am today because of those brave souls who came before and forged this pathway for me. I hope my generation will continue to tread the path of justice as boldly and as eloquently as those before us. I'm sure you've seen quite a bit of this in the news recently. 50 years ago, apparently this weekend, there was some kind of riot at the Stonewall Inn in New York City. And apparently some police entered the gay bar and arrested and beat up those who had gathered. And on June 12, 2016, a 29-year-old walked into a gay nightclub in Orlando called Pulse, and in an instant murdered 49 people and injured 53 others. Many people wonder why we need Pride. Why must we celebrate the LGBTQ+ community so loudly annually? In Boston, a group has received approval to host a straight Pride. They don't understand why one group should celebrate who they are when their group cannot. Someone was heard to say to them during that application process, It's straight pride every day. Pride matters for several reasons. The first of which being that it continues to raise visibility. It reminds the world that everyone has a right to exist. Straight people typically don't need to do that. Growing up in a small town, I didn't know that being gay even existed. I thought who I was a deviancy from the norm. I was told that regularly by adults and by children. I thought that what I was needed to be corrected, needed to be fixed, or possibly should never have existed at all. That's why pride matters. Pride matters because it's a reminder not only of how far we have come, but it's a challenge to press on further until full equality for the entire LGBTQ+ community comes to being. Same-sex couples are still turned away from churches and bakeries. Trans women of color are still shot dead in the street because of a parking violation. Sex ed in public schools primarily teaches heterosexual practices that leave queer children ill-prepared and unwanted. Pride matters. It matters, and I hope it matters for you. One accepting adult can save a queer kid's life. Could you all say that out loud? One accepting adult can save a queer kid's life. LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than their straight peers. We hold the power to save lives. We have the power to create safe, whole spaces. We can all share pride in the LGBTQ community. We have no choice but to love those who are part of us. Amen, and let it be so.
Please rise in body and or spirit and turn in your gray hymnal to hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine.
Let it
Please be seated. Our benediction this morning is as it should be, in 2 voices.
In the face of hate, we answer the call of love.
In the face of exclusion, we answer the call of inclusion.
In the face of homophobia, we answer the call of LGBTQ rights.
In the face of racism, we answer the call of justice for all races.
In the face of xenophobia, we answer the call of pluralism.
In the face of misogyny, we answer the call of women's rights.
In the face of demagoguery, we answer the call of reason.
In the face of religious intolerance, we answer the call of diversity.
In the face of narrow nationalism, we answer the call of global community.
In the face of bigotry, we answer the call of open-mindedness.
In the face of despair, we answer the call of hope.
As
As
Unitarian
Unitarian
Universalists, together we must answer the call of love now more than ever.